man with a camera.
Live from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas, this is Runway DFW in color. Now, here is your host, Walt Zwerko.
Hey everybody, we're back. It is Wednesday, May 31st, 2023. It's still that date. And we're coming back at you live from the big airport so that we can bring you the departure of Lufthansa's A340, which we hope to see within the next about half hour or so. So welcome back if you were here before, and welcome on in. What you're seeing there, of course, is UPS MD-11, another aircraft which we enjoy seeing here. And we'll see this for a little while longer, this particular model. That just came in from Louisville. And so here we are from our perch in the friendly confines of DFW Founders Plaza. And so let's go on our second half of our special edition of Runway DFW for this Wednesday. What do we got there? Oh, a little sun country to brighten our day. It's coming in on the east side of the airport. That was arriving from Cancun. Here's a special livery for you. Yes, that was the American Airlines US Airways Heritage livery on that Airbus A340, which just arrived from San Antonio, Texas. And if you're keeping track, that was flight 1967. So anyway, what we are here to see is the departure of a Lufthansa Airlines A340, a four-engined aircraft, which is likely that we'll not be able to see for too much. Well, this may be the last time we see it here at DFW Airport, because there are no domestic U.S. airlines that fly the A340. And among the international airlines that still fly it, well, there's another special livery. That's the Medal of Honor livery. 2 in a row. And there's 2 in 1 picture. That was American Flight 1820 arriving from Ontario, California, on that Airbus A321. Officially, that's called the Flagship Valor livery, but it's got medals of honor for the branches of service. Let's say hello to everybody. Steve Lundaby, a member of our channel, says hello everyone. Didn't get to watch the first one, had to give my lawn a haircut. A-list flyer Chris is here. I'm glad that you could stop by. Going Slightly Matt says, Runway DFW, glad I can catch this stream. Yeah, it may turn out to be a little bit of history. I just don't know really whether this takeoff of an A340 will be the last scheduled one from this airport. Just don't know. This is American Flight 1660. It is going to Phoenix, Arizona on that A321. No special livery here. Just the standard fare American Airlines look. And you might ask, Walt, why are you so all worked up about this A340 business? And it's just that, you know, again, it's not a plane that we're likely to see again very soon at this location. And it's also the one of only two four-engined passenger planes that currently serve DFW Airport. The other one being the British Airways A380. It's the big brother of the A340. So that continues to fly here on a daily basis, but that's it as far as what we see here at this airport in the guise of aircraft with four engines carrying passengers. We still do see the Boeing 747 come in and out. In fact, there was an Asiana 747 that took off while we were in our hiatus there. Here comes an American Airlines A321neo coming in on the other side of the airport, on the east side of the airport, coming in from Los Angeles, flight 1372. And it's going to dip behind some buildings, and that's the last we'll see of that. There is Aeromexico Connect. It's going to Mexico City. That's an Embraer E190. The only example of this flight of this aircraft that I see out here, the E190. There may be others, but I've not seen one. We generally see the E175. This is a little bigger. Hey, you guys. As you can see, it's a warmish day here at DFW Airport. We've got mostly sunny, but some very puffy white clouds in the sky overhead. As represented in this shot, 89 degrees Fahrenheit. And so we're on the lookout for the pushback of the Lufthansa flight. And again, we should be seeing it in this half hour. And, you know, gosh, it would sure be nice if it took off right in front of us here instead of being shuttled over to the east side. I know I have some people up in the tower who watch our program now and again. Maybe they're listening. By the way, in that shot you just saw go by, one of the two Qantas Dreamliners that are on the ground here now. While we were away from you, that may be the Melbourne one that came in earlier, but while we were away from you, the Sydney flight came in. Bill Caldham, checking in from Arkansas, says, good afternoon again, Walt. Blue Stream Illinois Prairie says, or Blue Stem Illinois Prairie says, what is going on with the stream? Well, let me check it out here. We weren't having any issues earlier. Look at our bandwidth. Well, it is being a little crazy. Well, hang in there with us. I am recording this stream locally, so in case we run into any fatal issues, I'll still be able to upload a playback for you. But bear with us if we have some bumps along the road here. That happens every now and again. Here comes American Airlines Flight 313 from San Diego. Let me pull out and get that for you coming in. It's an Airbus A321. I keep checking my flight radar to see if that big old A340 is pulled back from the gate. It has not yet so far, according to flight radar. A few trains at a member of this channel says, welcome back, Walt. Kevin is covering the last arrival of the A340-600 at Boston today, Boston Logan Airport. So today is well covered for A340s on YouTube. Well, yeah. Again, we may not have seen the last of that plane here, but it's just hard to tell at this time. So we're looking down now at Terminal D, there on the left, and when the Lufthansa A340 pulls out, it will be pulling out from the left there, and we'll see it. And it should come up, whether it's going to go out east or west, it'll come up along this side of the airport, so we'll get to see it down there. We'll get to follow its taxi as it gets ready to take off. So glad you could all come back and find us here. There you see the east tower of DFW Airport. Not much happening on this side of the west, here on the west side of the airport right now. The wind is blowing out of pretty much the south, it looks like. At least that's my reckoning. The official airport indicator says it's kind of the southwest at 7 miles an hour. So not a big factor, but you can hear it in the background. So a bit of relaxing time here for us at DFW Airport. I was busy during our hiatus working on stories for K10.com, my employer. There you see a little cargo plane scooting across the runway there. That was a I don't know if that was cargo or not. It was Boutique Air Flight 919. Going there. Well, I guess it came in from Albuquerque, it says here. Oh, it came in on runway 13 right, which we do not get a view of from our vantage point. Well, we should be very close now to the big Lufthansa A340 300. And our fine moderator, Ms. Wolves 13, checks in, says, welcome back, everyone. Welcome to you, Ms. Wolves 13. Thank you for your service to our channel. As I said in the first broadcast of this series today, I'm just kind of sad that we're not going to be seeing the A340 anymore. Now I do see it lit up on the radar. Flight 439 headed back to Germany, Frankfurt to be specific. And so it is on the move. It's been pushed back, and we should be seeing it, the cockpit poke out from behind all those American Airlines tails down there in a minute or two, down there at Terminal D. The Lufthansa Dallas to Frankfurt, or Frankfurt to Dallas and back service is not a daily flight, but it's several times a week. I think it's 4 or 5 times a week, and it's been typically serviced in recent months by the A340. Occasionally they'll slip in an A330, but usually the A340 has done the trick, and for the summer season at least, it's going to be replaced by Dreamliners. Looking around to make sure I didn't miss it. I think I see it now. There it is. There's that big bird. 4 engines and all. There it comes. So we're just going to follow it as long as we can. I have no indication whatsoever whether it's going to take off from here on runway 18 left, or if it's going to go over to the east side to the 17s. An interesting fact about the A340 aircraft, none of this model or of this type of aircraft has ever been involved in a fatal crash. There have been some incidents in which airframes were lost, but nobody has ever been, no lives have ever been lost on an A340. So that's a pretty good record, considering this plane has been in the air for 30 years now. Not this particular plane. This one, this example is 22 years old. It's dates back to the turn of the century, back to February of 2001. But yeah, this is what we came out here to see today. as a United jet drops in from San Francisco. That was Flight 1240 and Airbus A320. Little brother to the A340. And as we were saying in our first installment today, this is actually a kind of a reworking of the A300. Airbus slapped a couple more engines on it. In this particular model, this is the 300. This has smaller engines than its larger or stretched variants. So to me, this looks more classic. It looks like, at a glance, it could look like obviously the 707 and the DC-8 were not wide bodies, but just kind of the general profile of this harkens back to those days of the dawn of jet travel. So it's about to come to the place where it's got to make a decision as to whether it's going to take off over here or over on the east side, and it looks kind of like it's making that big turn over to the east side. No, wait a minute. I digress. It is going to make that final trip to Frankfurt, what may be the final trip to Frankfurt, here on the west side. And we've got a crowd of people here to see this plane off. And it'll pose for some final shots. Auf Wiedersehen, Lufthansa A340. Hope to see you again sometime. may just follow it all the way back to Europe at this rate. I think we lost it. Well, there you go. Well, it's hard to top that. That's Frontier Airlines Flight 3787 off to Phoenix. On the tail with Percy, the Florida Panther. American Eagle Flight 3888, an Embraer 175, which just touched down from Montrose, Colorado. It's a Miraflight freight aircraft, which is probably not going to take too very long to get off the ground. There it goes. That was going to Amarillo in Texas. So Ken G says, another part of history gone. Well, you know, you can never say never, because Lufthansa might choose to return the A340 to Dallas. I just don't think it's really quite likely at this point. Mary Extraordinaire says, I'm not crying, I'm cutting onions. And Just the Facts Man, who we saw earlier in person, says, I was there when the A340 landed today, but home watching it leave. And Douglas Serrano says, sad goodbye to the Lufthansa A340. A Few Trains Hat says, wonder if Walt bribed ATC for an arrival and departure on the west side. I don't know. I mean, that's usually a kind of a toss-up. You know, in my experience, it's come in about maybe 50% of the time over here and 50% over on the east side. And I do know somebody who works in the towers. My friend Ian, although I haven't communicated with him in a while, so there was no bribery or anything else involved in that decision-making process. We have a big American Airlines jet about to show you. We're about to show you here. This is arriving from Seoul in South Korea. It's flight 280. It's a 7879 Dreamliner. It was yesterday they had a scare in Seoul. Air raid sirens went off and residents were advised to take shelter as North Korea launched a missile which was headed towards the south. Now it went out over the sea. It was, the North Koreans say it was some sort of a military surveillance satellite, but the launch went awry. So there was nothing landed on, everything that went up landed in the sea. But it was a kind of a scary moment or two. I was home looking at the headlines, and I saw that my son, who lives and works in Seoul, had just posted a story about what had happened. So yeah, it's a little more personal when you know somebody who's in a zone where they've just been alerted to take cover. We have an Air Canada cargo 767. It's about to come in on the east side. So let's see if we can bring that to you, shall we? Did I say it's a 767? It's a 767. It's almost brand new. It's a 1-year-old, dating back to, well, a little more than a year old, dating back to December of 2021. And I'm talking about it. You're not seeing it right now. I'm about to line it up on camera 1 here for you. We'll have to look at it from a distance. Done with the maple leaf logo on the tail of the Air Canada cargo plane. What time is it? A little after 4. I'm going to go back to work here in a minute at my real job. Let me check real quick to see when the A380 is coming in this afternoon. It usually comes in the 5 o'clock hour. Maybe I'll have to have part 3. Oh, this is not the tail that has the kind of negative space, half maple leaf. I was thinking of something else. You'll probably see it go by there in the distance. Oh, you know what? We're only 3 minutes away from the A380, so you know what? That'll be our big finale today. There goes the Air Canada plane way there, just going behind or in front of the tower there. Yeah, in fact, the next arrival is British Airways Speedbird Flight 193 from London, and it now becomes the only 4-engined passenger plane that has scheduled service to DFW Airport. Kind of sad, but that's just a sign of the times. Now, I guess there's still a chance that Emirates could bring its A380 back, because it once flew here, and they've got a bunch of those aircraft. Korean Air, who knows? And Lufthansa. There goes an American A319 off to somewhere. But we're going to focus our attention now on the skies to the north where Flight 193 is coming in. This will be a 7-year-old A380. It's arriving a little early. It's arriving a lot early. It's arriving about a half hour early today. It's scheduled for 4:50. Going to come in at 4:15. I don't see it yet with my eagle eyes. But when I do, I will zoom into it and we will see it in all of its glory. So stand by for action. I do see it now. Just see if we can glinting in the sun. But I can't pick it out on my monitor. Oh, I can now. Okay, there it is. Still a bit far off, but it'll be here in no time. King of the skies. I don't know, what's the A340? The Prince of the Skies? Well, too late now. To go through a pole here, so don't panic. I almost had to deploy the air horn there, but a viewer got out of the way in time. Away from London town, 8 hours and 49 minutes of a journey, and it's headed over to the International Terminal D. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. I've got to get back to work again. It's been quite a great pleasure having you with us here for these 2 streams today. I hope that you'll keep up with Runway DFW and like and subscribe and all that stuff. Be a member if you are so inclined. And push that bell to trigger a warning when we are, so you will know when we are live again. But right now, I've got to go back and do my real job of providing news for the Texoma region. So once again, I'm going to show you the names of the people who have kindly contributed to this channel as members, and we will be we'll look at that right now, and then I'll be back. So hang on. Well, it feels like I said goodbye already, but I'll say goodbye again to all of you. Thanks so much for bearing with us today, or being with us. I guess bearing with us too for these 2 kind of abbreviated broadcasts of Runway DFW, in which we saw the A340 Lufthansa come and go for what may be the final time. A little bit of history for you. We'll be back later this week with more stuff from DFW Airport. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon for one or both of our presentations. Thanks to our moderators, thanks to our members and our subscribers, and thanks to you and you and you. Happy contrails to you until we meet again. Bye.
Stay tuned for The Price is Right, which follows at most of these CBS stations.
We hope you liked it. Too late to change it now.
What?